just had some happy mail arrive and I'm going to dig into it with you here today. So let's get around to opening this little baby up and having a look at what's inside. Let me just grab my scissors. So I've been eyeing off the History Quest program put out by Pandia Press for a little while now. And so I decided just to jump in, bite the bullet and grab it, even though I had to deal with the dreaded exchange rate. So it just arrived and I figured it could be useful if I opened it with you. So this is going to just be my first impressions. I've not seen inside this curriculum before at all, but it is one that I've been looking at for quite a while. We've used a little bit of Pandia Press products in the past, some of their earlier products my eldest boy used. And I've been looking, or I've been considering what I need to do for some world history for my youngest. Up until now, whilst he's definitely sat in on some of our readings, we've really just kept history light and fun with picture books and documentaries and hands-on activities and those types of things. Just before I open these up, if you are new here, I'm Kylie. I've been homeschooling my 3 kids since 2007. And I'd like to invite you to pop that red subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any future videos that I bring out. Okay, let's move some of this rubbish out of the way. Firstly, if you're watching this from a country other than Australia and you haven't realised yet that I am an Aussie, well, here I am, based here in sunny Queensland in Australia. I'm quite sure you can't miss the accent if you aren't from Australia, but anyway. So pricing. Most Aussies know it's over the top expensive for us to order American produced curriculum if it's not in a digital download format. And I could have gotten this via digital download, but I'm an old-fashioned girl. I'm a pen and paper, open a book and read a book. I just like having the physical things in my hands, especially when it's something that I'm going to be with for probably 12 months. If it's just smaller items, quick things to work through, then I'm okay with digital downloads. But when it's a book and an activity book to go along with it, I want the real deal. So that's one of the reasons why I think I took a considerable amount of time to decide whether I'd actually order this, because to get this and have it arrive here in Australia, that's in US dollars, hold on 1 second, it ended up costing me, this is including shipping, $175.19 Australian dollars for that. Australian dollars. So the novel or the reader is $22.99 US dollars, and then the guide is $49.99 US dollars, and I paid $56.52 US dollars in shipping. So with the exchange, that worked out at $175.19. Anyway, it's definitely over the top expensive to have it sent here, but it's done now. I've got it in my hands. Let's open this bad boy up and have a look. Alright, let's have a look at the novel, reader, guide, reading book first. I am happy with how well it's been packed. There are no bent corners, damaged pages, any of those things, so I'll give it that. Quite often when I do order things from the US, items come in with, you know, dog-eared corners or bent corners and those types of things. So none of that in this case. Alright, so we have History Quest Early Times. I probably should address the fact that if you look at this one here, it actually says on the front, a complete history curriculum for elementary aged children. So primary school, or I guess grade 5-ish and below is what this is designed for. My youngest son, 12. Turning 13 later this year. So he's definitely basically too old for this. He's not in this age bracket. A lot of those older programs are just really heavy on writing. He doesn't love to write, and for me personally, I don't actually need him to write as part of his history program. Yes, of course, we will do the odd little bit here and there, but I don't see the need or the reason why we need to be spending hours each week writing about what we're learning in history. So with that said, I want history to be light, fun, hands-on, and engaging for him. I want him to love history. I don't want him to feel bogged down with writing assignment after writing assignment. And that is the reason why I went for the elementary level program. Okay, so my fear with this is that it's going to be written aimed at a 5-year-old, and therefore he will feel that it's too dumbed down for him. But you can, on their website, if you jump over and have a look, you can actually download like a preview, I guess you'd call it. And I think it's possibly the first chapter or half of the first chapter, and you can read through that for yourself. And I felt it was okay. Clearly it's written for children. Absolutely it's written for children, but I think it will be fine. Okay, so we have table of contents. Love that it starts with the Paleolithic times. It's quite challenging as a homeschooler to find a program that starts way back in the beginning of history. So we've got 26 chapters. So I guess technically it means that we probably should be able to quite easily get through this in a year. So yeah, Paleolithic times it begins with, and it takes us through to chapter 26 is entitled Arabia. So we are, remember, only looking at early times, so ancient history in this particular guide. We have a little author's preface telling us about some of the information of why she's written what she's written, and then we get straight into the reading. We've got some simple illustration for our little introduction chapter, and I believe, because I think I read this on the website, this is just talking to the children about history, what history is. And then into chapter 1, Paleolithic times. So from what I can tell, it's not illustrated apart from at the beginning of each chapter. There is that one small illustration. So chapters don't seem to be overly long. 5, 6, 7 pages. Flip through a few pages so that you can see for yourself. It's just an average size novel really, so it's not hugely onerous. They also have on their website where you can download the audiobook. I haven't decided whether I'll do that yet. We have been doing a lot of audiobooks lately, and I have to admit my voice and my throat is loving that. And I'm loving that I can just immerse myself in the story with the kids. I don't have to be focused so much on what I'm reading, if that makes sense. That seems weird. But reading out loud, you know, we're always looking ahead a sentence or two, making sure that what we're coming to is going to be suitable for the children, all those types of things. Whereas with an audiobook, I can just be there with the kids and enjoying it as part of exactly how they are enjoying it as well. Okay, so history quest. Let's jump right to the back and have a look at what we've got at the other end. We do have an index. Okay, so we have a lengthy index. So if there are any points of interest, we can easily go to that index. We have maps. Oh, and they've even given us a table of illustrations. So there is a list with each page number of all the illustrations that are included, and that's the read aloud guide for the early times of History Quest. Okay, the study guide. So my fear with this is going to be a bunch of worksheets. I'm not a worksheet lover. I definitely will steer well clear of worksheets whenever I can. I just feel that there's so many more engaging ways that we can have our children show what they've learned or what they understand apart from having to complete a worksheet. So let's open this up and have a look. Oh, okay, it's perforated. I don't know if you can see that. but it's perforated so that you're able to pull these out so that we can photocopy them for our own children. Okay, great idea. Not sure that I'll do that with this one. I have to be honest with what I paid for it. I will probably wanting to keep it pristine so that I can move it on to someone else when we're finished with it. So, okay, so our table of contents in the study guide matches exactly the table of contents in the reader. So we begin with what is history. Oh, sorry, we'll begin with how to use the study guides. Let's have a look at that. And then as we get into it, it starts with Paleolithic times. So there's a couple of pages written directly to the educator of the best ways to work through the study guide. We've got some information on changing things up, how does a typical week may look for you. I'm not great on following those schedules. I just tend to do my own thing and whatever works, but I know that they're really handy for many of you. But basically we are looking at a 4-day week by the looks, and day 5 is left for enrichment, optional, reading other books, watching documentaries, those types of things. We also have a history travel log page. So that's an interesting thing that I like about this one, and I'm looking forward to that. The other part of History Quest that they have is what is called Hygge history. So if you're not sure what hygge means, if you've never heard that word, it's a Danish concept. Really loosely, it translates to a feeling of cozy well-being. And so they slot in 4 hygge history weeks in the History Quest guide. So that's 4 weeks where you take a break from reading this and working through the study guide, and you just spend that time, sorry, I'm just trying to read whilst I'm talking at the same time, spend that time devouring books and movies and documentaries and all of those things, and just consolidate, I guess, what you've been learning. So I do like that. I like that they include that in the program. Okay, so we have a required book list. And I'm certainly hoping the only required book is this one, because I didn't look any further than that. Oh, okay. Required book list. We have History Quest Early Times, and we also have the Usborne Encyclopedia of World History with internet links. I didn't notice that when I looked on the website. So that is a required book. I actually think I have that one here on my shelf. Bear with me. Yep, I have this one. So the Usborne Encyclopedia of World History with internet links. That is a required book to go along with this program. Then you've got, for each main section, not necessarily each chapter, but each main section, you have what they have recommended as some go-along books that you may wish to purchase, secondhand, new, or borrow from your local library, I guess. We have a master supply list. Okay, so looking at this, clearly there's plenty of hands-on, get messy type activities if we look at some of the supplies that are needed. Oh, okay, so the pictures match up. Let's have a quick look at this. I'm pretty sure the illustration was the same. Yeah. We've got an introduction, what is history, so the illustrations match up so that you know that you're definitely in the right place with that. Gives you a nice big bright yellow box which basically explains to you what the focus is for this particular lesson. So this is to learn the definition of ancient history. We've got some enrichment reading, resources and materials, and the basic supplies needed for the week. For those of you that like the unit schedules, as I mentioned before, they've listed it out in a nice little neat table for us, so that's easy to see. I love that it's not cluttered. That's really good. I really like that. It's really easy to follow. Everything jumps out and stands out really well. Easy to see what are the terms and concepts that we're looking at in this week. And then we move on to the lessons. So you can see here we've got day 1, discover. Day 2, explore. So each of the lessons clearly show you with little tick boxes for those of you, if you're like me, I love a good checklist, so I can tick those off as we've completed them. We've got copywork. We've also got copywork and dictation. So the copywork, again, this is where I guess this program is young because it's quite short. But I guess I can always extend on that if I feel that I need to. So we have copywork and dictation. And then the day 5, which was the enrichment day, the day they left for me to make up my own mind what we do, is that they've actually included some web links and some ideas of reading books. So that's a good one as well. And then each lesson seems to cover that same pattern. So I'll flip through another one for you. So Unit 4 Sumer. So this is Unit 4 Sumer. And then we've got Unit 5 Egypt. Egypt looks like it's broken down. It's definitely a big topic to cover. Okay, so do we have... Right, so we've got arts and crafts. So the Egypt one is make an apple mummy. So mummify an apple. Let's flip to the back. Do we have things like colouring pages? We've got a handful of simple colouring pages in the back. Very quite simple, really. Hieroglyphics, and then we have our maps. So for all the map work in the back there. Okay, so the colouring pages. Okay, these ones are a little bit more detailed here. Possibly those colouring pages at the back are actually made more for art and craft activities, and these are the actual images to paint or colour. And we have the history travel log. So I'm not sure what that one actually is, but I think obviously it's a reflection page for the child to complete. So it will be one that will be up to me as to whether or not we chose to do that. Okay, a really simple, looks as though it's well put together, easy to follow program. I like it. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this one. We won't start it until next term, so we've kind of got another 5 or 6 weeks before we'll actually start this, but that will give me a chance to get organised. And yes, it's halfway through our year. And yes, I'm starting a brand new program halfway through the year. It's how I roll here in this hot mess homeschool. And that's okay. It doesn't matter when I pick things up, when we stop and start them. It really makes zero difference. I hope that you liked this little look inside. As I said, it's my first impression. I had not seen it before this. So what I will try and do is possibly halfway through, come back and give you an update on how it's all going, or then maybe right at the end when we're finished, I can share what it's all like. So anyway, that is History Quest by Pandia Press. So thanks for joining me. See you all next time. Bye.